What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review, episode 544. We are slowly making it with this review for the books that were released on November 26, 2025. We are ending November, going into December, and as of the recording of this video, we are 1 week away from fully catching up. So hopefully by this weekend, we'll get the first week of December's books up. I know as we're recording this, I will be uploading the episode before this. This episode should be coming out on the weekend as we're recording the next episode, which should be coming out at the start of next week. And then for the week of the 10th, fingers crossed, depending how much, I know Mike has a lot to read from the 10th. Yeah. So fingers crossed, if we can get the 10th up before Wednesday, that'd be great. Might not happen. However, whenever we do get the week of the 10th up, we should be on time for the following week, and that means that as of January we will have caught up, which is excellent. So let's waste no time. Let's get into the books this week. We're starting with Supernatural issue number 2. This was an excellent book. Sam and Dean go to Las Vegas and they go into a casino that somehow is haunted by a ghost, and there's a connection to the casino owner and what he did to her so many years ago. And it's up to the boys, you know, to... Yeah, I don't want to know. It's like solve the mystery, handle the situation to kind of put the haunting at ease, finally. And it's just classic Supernatural. I really liked it a lot. I love the way the book ended. Artwork was interesting. Was pretty good. Did enjoy that for the book. Supernatural's a really great book. I really truly enjoyed issue 2. I liked the first issue. I feel like if Dynamite really does what they did with the first 2 issues for the series, Supernatural will be around a lot longer than a few of the series, unfortunately, in Dynamite, which have only made it into the mid-10s. Some of them made it into the 20s. I feel like if they do this series right, this could be one of the series like Red Sonja, like Vampirella, that can go into, you know, the higher numbers, the 50s and 60s and 70s. Just again, it all depends on the team. TMNT Shredder, issue number 3. I really enjoyed this issue as well. Shredder, from the last issue, we know he's looking for a specific person. He ends up in Tokyo and ends up... What do you mean, yeah?
In Tokyo.
Yeah, he ends up in Tokyo with a company, and it turns out this company got some Utrum technology or whatever, which is allowing them to travel between dimensions. There's a crazy scientist involved, and Shredder wants to know what they were making for this person. And of course he has the agent who's also working with him, and she kind of gets involved a bit too much sometimes. But it turns out that the threat that Shredder is chasing after is a lot more or a lot bigger than they initially suspected. And they have technology. They have Utrum technology now, which is very dangerous. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this book goes. Again, these side stories and the TMNT universe with IDW, when they get a good team, it's done great. Casey was great. Shredder's going really well. I know TMNT's had a very rough start. They're only at issue number 13 or 14 right now, and it's been out now for about 2 years. It's been a rough start over for TMNT. A lot of delays, possibly. I don't really know, but I do know it's for the short amount of issues we've had, in the amount of time that this new series started, TMNT had a rough start, it seems to me. So I'm looking forward to TMNT getting back on a... I know they got a new team, so hopefully that means it'll be on a consistent basis again. But that's it for the independents. We are going into Marvel.
Yes, the big 2 now. So we're going to start off with Marvel Knights the Punisher, issue 2. Or shall we call him El Zombie? Because of the serum basically he has in this book. Every time they spray him with something, he says, "I am death. I am El Zombie."
And the guy he's fighting?
No, the Frank Castle.
Oh, shoot, okay.
It's a serum that they used. That spray thing, because remember, he now is under someone else's control, and he does what they ask him to do. So, long story short, they go into this thing where what's his name? I can't remember.
Names are
Armando
right
has this thing, and then his wife or someone, Fernanda, she witnesses him telling the Punisher or El Zombie to do something that is very like he doesn't want him in the house because he's all like killing this and doing that and breaking people's arms and this and that. And there are a couple of times though in this issue where he tries to snap out of it, and then they keep spraying him with the thing again to keep him under control. And then there was the one part in the scene where he was in the prison cell, and then Fernando went down there and said that the guy who you see in the cover to send him after Frank Castle to try and destroy him because he doesn't want him in the house and everything. And there's just a whole big thing that happens after that. You really gotta read this book, but I really feel bad for Frank Castle that's going through all that with all that syndrome thing that's going on. But it's a really interesting read, and artwork is pretty good also.
Bobba Fett, Black, White, and Red, issue number 3. After reading the last issue and now reading this one, each issue is its own story. I really liked this issue. So apparently we get a story that's split into past, present, and so we're jumping with Boba Fett back when he was younger and a failed mission he had. And then we're jumping into the present where Boba Fett, even though the hit or the what's the word? What is it? When you have a contract out on the person's head has been canceled or expired, Boba Fett still holds true to his initial, because initially he was a hit and he was one of Boba Fett's failures. So it becomes personal. It no longer is about the contract. It's no longer about the bounty. That's the word. The bounty on the person's head. It's all about rectifying his failure in this book. It was excellent. The artwork was really, really good. I love these books that Marvel does. I mean, they've done it with Venom. They've done it with Punisher. Not Punisher. They did it with Venom. They did it with Predator. They did it with Alien. They've done it with Star Wars. They've done it with a few books. And it is just so good. It is so good, these books. Again, it's not as colored because it's black, white, and red. But it makes the artwork pop. That's one of the hugest things I could say about this book was the artwork was really good. If you are a Boba Fett fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, I definitely recommend checking this book out. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait for the next issue. I love that each book has its own story too, so you don't have to worry about one long, connected story. I mean, it would work as well, but I like when each book is a different story. So the next book will be another story connected to Boba Fett's either ongoing or his ongoing story in the present or past stories, which I really like. Excellent book.
Okay, Cloak or Dagger, X-Men Age of Revelation related, and this is issue number 2. So in this issue, we still see this whole mutation that's still going around by the two people who you see on the cover, and I can't remember the names for the life of me, but they do this whole mutation. And what I like about this issue also is that Cloak and Dagger's daughter actually appears in this issue more, where you see Dagger with the daughter and saying that she wants to help the mother out, and then it's the same thing where she's with the mother and saying that we have to go help with Daddy, and then they actually go to help him out because the two villains you see in the book try to get Cloak to join them, like saying, oh, join us, with the mutation, everything, we can make your life great, and this and that. Of course, he declines that. And I also like the romance of Cloak and Dagger with each other because, they're a really great couple. I really like that issue and that whole closeness that they have with each other. But the whole mutation thing is going way out of control. We see one of them, Jensen, who gets really, really mutated, and he is just going, just nuts and everything. The mutation just keeps getting worse and worse as it just progresses in this book. And they just got to either find a way to get a cure for it or something else because it is just an all-out mutation fest. But it's a really great issue, though. Definitely check it out.
Infernal Hulk issue number 1. I decided to give this a shot because there was the Immortal Hulk. That was a horror-based story. Then we had another Hulk story which took place the 5 to 10 years that we've been away from comics, and now we have Infernal Hulk. And this is supposed to be like a mix of the horror aspect and the action aspect. I still don't know how I feel about the Hulk being horror based. This is definitely horror based.
What do you mean, like horror?
It's horror. Like it's got more gore and horror in it than it does actual like action superhero like we're used to reading when it comes to the Hulk.
All right.
Apparently, Bruce Banner and the Hulk are two separate beings now. Bruce Banner is human. The Hulk is the Hulk. And there's no way to kill the Hulk. And the Hulk has new powers in this book. And we get to see that. And the problem is, the Hulk, without Bruce Banner attached to him, and we've seen this in the past, without Bruce Banner's conscience and personality, the Hulk isn't as good as, he originally was. So we're seeing bad things happening with the Hulk now, taking over and with his new ability, which I don't want to spoil because it's going into the next issue. We see other superheroes watching as this new turn of event, this event is going on with these new powers. And then you see Bruce at the end of the issue, who's also listening in and watching. And I get this feeling that Bruce is going to try to, at some point, have to reconnect with the Hulk, because the Hulk is losing himself. Like, the Hulk is dark. This is a dark book. I'm going to stick around for the next issue. Hulk in a horror form, it's rough for me. I liked it better the other way, but at some point I guess we'll see what goes on. I'm interested enough to say that I'll be in for the next issue or two just to see where this first arc goes, and then from there I'll determine whether I'm going to be sticking around or not. I did stick around for Captain America, as I said last week, and I'm glad. Thor, I might wait for a new arc to start up. I know I missed the first arc, which sucks because I heard it was really good, but there's another arc that takes place after Doom, the Doom event that's going on, so I might jump in and try that again. But Hulk, interesting. Very interesting. It has my attention.
Okay, and we got another Punisher book this week, and it is Daredevil and Punisher issue number 1.
You have a lot of back-to-back books that involves characters you read this week.
Yes, I do, actually. And in this issue, it basically starts off where Matt Murdock, who is the lawyer, goes on a case about where someone talks about the Punisher is causing havoc, which the Punisher does because the Punisher punishes things and everything. And who's his partner's name, Matt Murdock? Fozzie, right? Foggy, okay. I'm so bad with names, that's why I have him to help me out. But Foggy actually helps him out with this case because there's just so much that he's doing. So he goes out and he tries to find the Punisher and then ask him these questions of just why he's doing this. And what he actually is going after is some Italian guy, can't remember his name, but Daredevil goes to talk to him and saying that, the Punisher is going to come after you. You should really just keep your eyes open because he's known to be a really sneaky killer. And the Punisher does manage to kill him as he captures Daredevil and hanging him upside down. And there's this woman in this book that is really dangerous to one of the groups because now she wants to have revenge of them going to try to kill the Punisher after the revenge of who he's killed. She means business, though, in this book. I gotta tell you, it's really something. And I like the end of the cover of To Be Continued where it sees Daredevil and the World Trade Center is actually at the end of the page. And that really hit hard, though, because I remember those. But definitely, though, a really great book because now Daredevil's going after the Punisher now after all that he's caused. So it's going to be like a real confrontation between those two. So, a really great issue.
And now we move into DC Comics.
Yes, and the first one I'm going to be doing is Batman Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia, Book 1 of...
Book 1.
Yeah, Book 1, yeah. This was a heavy read, and I'm going to try to explain it the best I can.
You don't have to give
I'm not going to give an in-depth read. I'm just going to give it the best I can. But it does show 3 sides of people. First, it shows off The Question, who is a reporter, and he's trying to find out some cases of what's going on. Then we go into Batman's side of the story where he tries to solve a case and there were children that he didn't really want to bring to justice or kill, so he let them go. And he has a talk with Alfred about it, and they have like a nice talk with each other as well. And then we get into Green Arrow of Oliver Queen, where the Queen Industries is just going upside down, and there's just a lot of stuff that is more heavily heavied towards Green Arrow. And we do get a little bit of Green Arrow who meets up with the Question for a time being, but at the end of the issue, Green Arrow and Batman both meet up with each other, and that's where it leaves off to be continued. So there's like just a lot of stuff involved in this issue, but definitely if you want to read it for yourself, if you're one of those 3 fans, you will, and if not, then you won't. Totally up to you. And we got just a solo character, Green Arrow issue number 30. So in Green Arrow, we see him fighting off against the person who we see on the cover, which, of course, names, they just escape me and everything. But they fight off against each other, and Red Arrow, actually, they reunite with each other in this issue, and that really was great that he's like saying, oh my gosh, you're alive, and because he sees him as a son to him, along with meeting up with his daughter as well. And the 3 of them fight off against him, and Red Arrow actually gets the upper hand, and he kind of defeats him, but in a way of him falling off a building, and we know how good guys don't like to kill. They do that. But after that, Green Arrow's like saying, it's okay, we did what we can for justice, and I see you as a son, and that, just to make him feel better. It's like saying you're the best damn son that there was, and oh my gosh, just the whole issue. This was my book of the week, Green Arrow. Definite read, and it's to be concluded in the next issue from what I heard, so I'm going to see how that turns out in the next issue.
Funny enough, my book, Green Lantern issue number 29, also guest stars Green Arrow.
There you go.
And in this issue, last issue, Hal had some visions. So who does he go to? He goes to his best friend for help. And it becomes this big team up between Green Arrow and Green Lantern. It's involving the I believe if I remember correctly, because this was one of the first books I read, it's heavily connected to the visions are from KO, because even Oliver, who knows Hal best, he does. He calls Hal out on his bullshit multiple times in the book, but he can help Hal Jordan with his visions, and I believe it's connected to Darkseid. So he gives a suggestion, and it's leading into the next issue, issue 30, where we're going to have Hal Jordan going to Gotham to talk to Batman about his visions. And I believe this is a whole setup that's then going to lead into a minor crossover with DCKO possibly. But I have a feeling that that's what those visions are connected to. Also, he did open the book of Oa, which gave him visions as well. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a mix between the event that's going on and other stuff. This was an excellent team-up book. If you're a fan of Green Lantern, Green Arrow, there were a bunch of Emerald Warrior crossovers back in the day. This was definitely just like those books.
Yeah, and when you told me that Green Arrow was in it, it's like saying Green Arrow is like the fan favorite of that week's books.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
All right. This is Absolute Batman issue 14. Issue 15 just came out this week, the week of the 10th. So, this was the grand finale of Batman versus Bane. Bane wants Batman to use his Venom one more time, because if he does, he is fully taken over by the Venom permanently. And it's a completely mash-out brawl. The entire book is a brawl between the two of them. And Bane it seems like he's always one step ahead of Batman, but Batman's actually a step ahead of him. And there's a twist towards the end of the book. Spoiler, but this is last month's book. This is one of the books I'm going to spoil. He ended up draining the Venom out of his body 2 days prior with Catwoman. And he doesn't have the Venom to use it anymore. So he relies heavily on this plan that he comes up with to end Bane. And he does. And we think Bane is gone, but he's not really. And biggest twist of all is Catwoman ends up taking the venom that was taken out of Batman's body with her. So obviously where she's leaving to, wherever she's going to be selling that venom on the black market. So it might come back to bite Batman later. We don't know. But the next issue, and what everyone's talking about right now as we speak, Absolute Joker debuts. I am looking forward to reading the next issue as soon as I can. Believe me, I am going to be heavily going through next week's books so that I can get into the Week of the 10th book to read this next issue of Absolute Batman. All the rest of the books are DCKO tie-ins. And again, other than DC... Well, let's do the tie-ins first. So, Justice League Unlimited, issue number 13. One of the things I love about the Justice League Unlimited book right now is it is a hosh-posh team that Mr. T has put together. Mr. Terrific. Why did I say Mr. I knew I was going to say Mr. T. Mr. Terrific. I pity the fool. It is 4 in the morning. I'm tired. Mr. Terrific puts this team together of misplaced former Justice League members, and one of them is Superman Blue, which it is fun to see Superman in his electric costume again. It was a very short-lived era, and now that we know it's not permanent, it's one of those things where it's like, I enjoy it. I like seeing small stories here and there. Wouldn't mind having a second Superman around with the... Anyway, we learn in this book that every single member that Mr. Terrific puts together is expendable. And we start to see the team become expendable in this book as they are fighting demons in this book. We start to see the teammates dying one by one. And I have a feeling by the end of this story arc, this is going to be like, the Justice League is going to be, this entire group that Mr. Terrific put together is going to be gone. And I love it. I hope we get to keep the Superman around at least till towards the end. I have a feeling that this team's going to make a great sacrifice by the end of KO. Again, all of these tie-ins are optional. Do you have to buy the books to know what's going on in DCKO? I can tell you for a fact, no you don't. Because I read DCKO too, and I've read the tie-ins. Each tie-in has its own little story that adds to the main story of DCKO. But it is not 100% necessary. It's for people who like to have a complete set, like who want all the side stories. Some people like to read a lot. Some people don't. Some people just want to know the main story. You can get DCKO. I can tell you this because I read issue 2. It's going to be the last book I talk about. And you don't need these other tie-ins. They just add to the story. Superman issue number 32. This issue is Lois Lane heavy fighting Darkseid's Dark Legion who want to destroy the data in the Fortress of Solitude that has the information that Lois is looking for with Doomsday and Darkseid. And Superboy Prime is there. And Lois gets her powers back. I love Superboy Prime, who no longer kills, they say, but loves to break the fourth wall. He talks about the event, the comic, well, he doesn't say comic, but he says the event, the tournament. He talks like he knows he's in a comic book. And I don't know why, but it's fun. And he is a good guy. Apparently, in previous events, while we were away, Superboy Prime came back. He no longer kills because he mentions wanting to be in the tournament and knocking people's heads off. And Lois is like, I thought you were good now. And he's like, I am. He said, I could. Doesn't mean I want to, and I'm OP anyway. So he even knows that he's one of the overpowered characters in the DC universe. So he ends up teaming with the Superman robots of the Fortress, and Lois uses her powers to fight against the Legion, and they're able to get the crystal, and now they have to get the information to Superman. And it kind of cuts to Superman in the tournament going on right now. Him dealing with Lex Luthor. So it adds to his and Lex's dialogue, which we'll talk about in the book. But when we get to DCKO 2, but it does add a little bit more to Superman and Lex's dialogue, because it does hop back and forth between Superman and Lex in the tournament. And how, by the way, the what do you call it? The villains escaped the what do you call it? Because I believe that's, yeah. And how and we learn it during all these issues how the villains escaped and made it to the tournament. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really like, and that's how, you know, now you've got the villains in the tournament as well, and you've got Superman dealing with Lex, who thinks he's God's gift to the world. Anyway, this one is a looser tie-in. This is the Flash issue number 27. Bart runs into the future, and this is a future that is manipulated by Darkseid and the Dark Legion, his Dark Legion. And they want to kill Bart. They want to they want to capture Bart. They want to kill Wally. And this entire book is about Wally and Bart trying to escape the Legion. And the Legion is ruthless. And we get to see Max, who is influenced by this dark future and works for Darkseid. We also get to see Jesse, who also works for the Darkseid Legion and also doesn't know Wally or Bart, and is also evil and trying to stop both of them. End of the issue, Bart loses his powers because we think, or at least Wally thinks, that something happens in the past that Darkseid has done to cut Wally's power, like his family lineage. So now they've got to go back in the past and find Barry. How are they going to do it? We'll find out. This is looser. This is basically, if you're a Flash fan, you'll be reading this to see what's going on with Wally Flash, because I believe Barry's the one, he's the one that went to the tournament, if I remember correctly. Now, Barry went to the tournament, Wally's still with Bart. Do you need it? No. I'm reading everything that's DCKO related, so I'm going to be talking about it, but if you're not a Flash fan, you don't need the book. I can't stress that enough. However, the artwork and story are really good, so if you like the Flash, something to check out. And now, finally, DCKO issue number 2. The villains seem to be winning. Throughout the entire book, the villains get ahead of the superheroes a lot. There's some dark stuff the Joker does in this book as well. So dark that DC puts parental advisory over certain scenes, which I don't understand why DC did that. If you're going to do that, either do what Marvel did and make a red band version where we can see it, or just don't do it. Or put this event under the black label where it's labeled for adults. It's so dumb to see the Joker putting parental advice or explicit content in his mouth, because that's all you see is a bunch of explicit content covering over pictures. It's like, okay, thanks. I mean, I guess I'm watching the Joker eat explicit content.
Isn't it more DCKO for an adult read, kind of?
It should have been. The way it went in this issue, it should have been. But the villains are winning in this book. Lex takes one of Superman's hands, which is crazy as well. Ooh. Superman loses one of his hands. However, there are items. So it's a 3 rounds, best 2 out of 3 wins.
How did he lose his hand?
It was insane. So there are items on the map, and the winners of this part of the tournament are the ones that could get their hands on the items. And several characters get their items. Wonder Woman gets a lasso. I believe Lobo gets, he gets like, It's all different things, and then there are the lantern rings. And Lex gets most of the lantern rings. No, he gets he gets the Black Lantern ring.
Oh, no.
And Carol gets the other Lantern Corps rings. However...
Wasn't the Black Lantern ring the thing in the past?
Brings back to death. So what happens is, Lex ends up, spoiler here, because not really, killing Superman. Or it looks like he beats Superman. And then Superman finds a way to twist it and get the Omega energy, which is another one of the items, which is connected. I thought at first it was connected to the Black Lantern ring. But he's able to survive dying, and he comes back with now the Omega powers. Everybody gets their items. This part of the tournament is over.
Okay.
Excellent. So just when you think the villains are going to win, the superheroes pull out a win towards the end of the book. Now, starting with the month of December, we start to get the... Well, we have the tie-in miniseries, but now we get the one-shots that are going to be coming. I say this again, even though we're 2 weeks into December. Remember, when it comes to events in Marvel and DC, a lot of times, like 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, if you want to be really, you don't need the tie-ins, you don't need the one-shots, you don't need the extra fluff. A lot of the times, all you need is the actual main story and the looser, like, connecting stories, depending on your favorite superhero. I say this because there are a lot of DCKO books. A lot. And we are only on issue 2 of 5, so that means we literally have another 3 months, and I believe there's no issue for the month of December. If I'm correct in my assumption, I believe issue 3 comes out in January. I might be wrong, don't quote me. But if that's true, that means that means 6 months, because there's a month where there's no event book. Just be careful how much you buy, and buy your favorite heroes. Everything else is going to be just extra. And 2 to 1 in about a year, they'll make an omnibus, and if you really want to have everything, it'll all be collected in a $80 to $90 gigantic book, and then you don't have to worry. Do I think DCKO is doing a great job? Absolutely. I am really liking DCKO. By the way, there is a twist at the very end of the book when it comes to Booster Gold and Timekeeper, a.k.a. Doomsday. I'm really looking forward to the next issue. KO is doing really good. Definitely an event you want to check out. And with that, that's it for this review, everybody. We hope to be back as this will be going live on YouTube. We're hoping to be recording the 3rd episode. If we do get that done this weekend, we will have caught up as close as we can to the next week's release. Hopefully we'll get that review up as well, and then we'll be back fully caught up. If not, by January, I am very confident now we'll be back to a weekly basis. We'll be reviewing the books from the previous week, which I'm very happy about. Till then, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see all of you really, really soon in the next episode.
Yeah, everyone.